Boom! We are off another episode of Booze Your Daddy, the podcast. I'm Dr. Alan Snyder, here with my girl again, Blue and True, Stephanie Dancona. What's up, Boo?
What's up, Boo? I'm glad to be here today. I don't know why I'm acting like I'm a guest star on your show, but I'm just always happy to see you, so we're going to go with that.
I'm always happy to see you, and it's okay because that's a good thing that we're excited to see each other. And
It is.
I am especially excited to see you today because you have fashion and you have flavor. Now, I wanted to bring in some flavor today because currently we are a couple of days into the baseball season, and I'm wearing my Baltimore Orioles shirt because we're in first place right now, and we're not going to be able to say that for very long. So,
Wait, does that mean you just won a game?
yeah, the Orioles right now are tied for first place, and in a 60-game season, yeah, we are doing very well right now. You only got to win. Realistically, you're probably going to make the playoffs in baseball with like 30 wins, maybe even sub 500. So if the Orioles can make the World Series, I am pumped. So this is my Adam James t-shirt, hun, and I am rocking and rolling.
Got it. This is my black sweater, hun, and I'm rocking and rolling. That's. I don't have a fancy shirt on.
Yeah,
I got a hat, though.
You do have a hat. What's going on with this hat? Because you have a snapback hat, which is so 80s. It's great.
First of all, I have a couple I've worn numerous snapback hats. I decided that I don't know why I'm going to act like a 14-year-old boy and start snapbacks. I bought the Seahawks one, that vintage one. I haven't worn it yet. So this one's special because this is called, oh, don't laugh. This is called my dump hat.
Wait. Dump hat because you got dumped and you felt bad and you bought it, or because you put it on because you're about to take a huge dump?
No, it's because it literally came from a dump. So it's been washed. All right, so I'll make this short story. My family's got a cabin in Maine, and it's kind of the middle of nowhere. So when you have garbage and recycling, you have to bring it to, they just call it the dump. It's really the recycling plant. So you bring everything there, you tag your bags, you put it all in these. It's actually pretty cool. It's very, very eco-friendly. So they have a kind of little structure that people that actually have like good stuff to get rid of, they put in there rather than put it in the garbage. So people can go through and take stuff. And usually there's some pretty cool stuff. And so then
it's kind of like a Goodwill, but more outdoorsy.
Yeah, it's got like a Goodwill-esque kind of a thing on the side. So I found this hat. And I was like, it's free, why not? And I'm in Maine for a week, like no one's going to see me. And the best part is when we went back to the cabin, I went to wash it, and I didn't know that it was a washing machine that you put a little thing came out, and that's where you put the detergent in. I thought you put it right in, like in the regular compartment. So I went to go check on it, and as soon as I opened the door, suds everywhere, like something a 33-year-old, like that should not be happening to a 33-year-old that's been doing laundry her entire life.
No chance.
So I had to get my cousin to help me, and I was scooping it out of the house with a bowl. The dog was getting in it. It was a disaster, but it brings back good memories. So this is my dump hat.
Wow.
And
so your dog was doing the Tide Pod challenge before it was cool to do.
Way before. She thought it was super fun, and I was like, you're gonna get poisoned. Please get out of here.
Wow, that's really fun. It reminds me so much of Charlie from Sunny. Have you ever seen the episode where him and Frank go dumpster diving and they're like, look at this. People throw away all this good stuff. It's a perfectly good half-eaten pizza.
Yes, exactly.
Is Charlie from Sunny your other half?
Not gonna lie, somebody told me that once. They were like, if you were made into a character, it would be Charlie.
I've never put that together, but I see it. I do see it.
Yes, but I like less gross because I'm not going to eat out of a dumpster or like sleep in a bed with like my older friend. But I have Charlie qualities and I'm fine with it. And one of these days I'm going to get myself a Green Man suit and I'm going to show up in that to a Seahawks game and just call it a day. And then that's my life dream.
I think that's cool. I think that's cool except people do that already. You know that Charlie on that show in real life is married to the waitress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do. And then the girl and Mac are married.
Yeah. Mac is doing good. Have you seen, Mac has a new show. I think it's on Amazon. We watch it. It's called Mythic Quest. I know you're not the biggest TV person, but anybody listening to this, if you haven't seen Mythic Quest, it is Mac being Mac as a computer game software developer with some other amazing characters from other TV shows. It is very good. And then they even did a Zoom quarantine episode that was one of the better ones that I've seen. And it's very good. If you're looking for something, if you want more mac right now, do it.
More mac. I'll
More
consider
mac.
it. I'm not totally against it.
Yeah, I haven't been able to eat mac and cheese since you told me that story with Joanne. I've just been thinking about like cheese grits, and it's kind of ruined it for me.
Well, I wasn't talking about grits. I was talking about mac and cheese gruel.
But I think cheese grits, so I don't know.
I love cheese grits. Yes, it was disgusting, and none of our friends were there to witness it, and I'm really sad.
Yeah, the best line of that though was when you let her down softly and you went, "Oh, honey, I think you're gonna have to let this one go."
Yeah, she thought she thought she could redeem it, and I was like, I can't really be that. Like, I'm a bitch a lot, but I try to rein it in. I don't think I'm generally a bitch all the time.
I don't think you're a bitch at all. You're actually one of the more chill girls, which is why I love you, which is why I asked you to be my podcast host.
Podcast host, the host with the most.
Boop, 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 boop. You thirsty? I'm thirsty.
Oh, yeah, I'm super thirsty. What do you got? What are you drinking? Alcohol, beer, wine cooler, Truly?
Truly, get out of
Ew.
here. So
Just get out of here.
I got something purely based on the name. It is called Pocket Wrench because that kind of plays into one of our inside jokes that we always laugh about. But before we get there, Pocket Wrench Industrial Arts Brewing Company. It's a Northeast Pale Ale. I don't know what makes it Northeast versus not. Described as fluffy and tropical mist. And everything about this description, even a 4.5% alcohol, means it's going to have more flavor than alcohol. The only thing that turned me off is there is a government warning on this thing, as if it's a pack. It might as well be a pack of cigarettes. It says, according to the Surgeon General, women should not drink alcoholic beverages during pregnancy because of their risk of birth effects. Then it goes on to talk about alcoholic beverages and driving, not specifically for women. But with this, I'm just very surprised because you don't see that disclaimer on beers, right?
I didn't think that was like a thing. Like, I know, like, I feel like bars have to put a sign up that say, like, don't drink while you're pregnant and don't drive on a thing. Who knows? It's
right on the beer there. But, I see this and I see fluffy, and it immediately makes me think of my BFF in the world, Mr. TTN, Timothy Tyler Knoll, who is obsessed with Gabriel Iglesias. Fluffy. Have you ever seen him?
Oh, Fluffy.
Yeah.
Fluffy.
I think he's just okay. I don't know, but
I don't love him.
Oh, you were going with the fluffy, and then I said
no, but because I knew what you were talking about. I was excited that I was in on it.
Yeah, I think his stuff actually used to be a lot better back in the day. So this is my beer. Before I crack it, I want to hear about your beer.
My beer is, I think it was super adventurous. I went with Coley Island Mermaid Pilsner. It's got a nice half-naked mermaid with some kick-ass tattoo sleeves going on. First time I ever had this was I went to a good Lord, what's the Coney Island team? It's Coney.
Wait,
Coney Island?
Let me get this straight.
Yeah.
You went to Coney Island and had a Coney Island Pilsner?
No, what baseball game did I go see?
You went and saw the Brooklyn Cyclones.
Oh, that's what I saw. Brooklyn Cyclones. So I went there with Geraldine, Lauren, Emily, and that was my first time.
You sure? Because you've definitely named people on this
time. Yes, I know. Believe me, and they've called me out for it. I'm aware. It was the four of us. It was my first time going. We got there, first inning, sat down with my gigantic cheese hot dog, and it rained. Everything closed. We left the game, my first time there, so we hunkered down in the first bar we found, and I drank this, and that's the only time I've ever been in Coney Island for 1 hour in the rain.
Nah, not missing much.
So anyways, it's still delicious, though. I like it, and that's what we're going with.
All right. Well, let's release the Kraken. Open
All
it
right,
up.
release the Kraken.
Oh,
well, that sounded good.
Yeah, yours was really good.
Yeah.
Hey, cheers.
L'chaim.
L'chaim. Yamas. Love you.
Ooh, love you too. Nope, didn't spill it everywhere.
I did, though.
So did
I. Oh my
I.
God, this is delicious. This has the right amount of hops. This is in the running. I mean,
doesn't have the right amount of fluff.
It has the right amount of fluff, but that's the thing. I'm trying to try a new beer every show we have, and most of the time you're like, okay, it tastes like an IPA. It tastes like this. This one might be the first one, other than that lime one that I tried. This might be the first one that I might actually go out and buy a 6-pack of and make sure that I'm trying more often. This is very delicious.
That's what I thought about last week, Taco Thursday.
Taco Thursday
good stuff.
Yes, very much so. So, all right, well, catch me up in your life. What's going on?
All right, so I had like a story that I was gonna prepare, and I was really excited about it, and some shit went down last night, so we're gonna focus on that.
This is so great. This is my life, is where I have a running list of stuff, and I just
Yeah,
constantly, like, something comes up and you go, all right, gotta bump it down, gotta bump
no,
it
bump
down.
it down. I mean, because
Yeah.
this literally happened. What time is it? 8 o'clock. This happened like 8 hours ago.
Yeah.
So I'm in bed watching TV. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. So you've actually never been to my apartment.
Never
I'm on
been
the
invited.
ground level.
I would come.
I live in a box. There's nowhere for you to go. It's standing in that corner over there. Do you see my wood laminate corner that I do this podcast in? You think I got all the space in the world?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you think that I live in a 3-bedroom Manhattan apartment? I was on a Zoom call the other day with friends, and we were joking that in the shot you could see the couch and the bed on different sides of the room. My buddy's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, nice tour of the apartment you got there, buddy."
Yeah, my bed's literally like right there. So laying in bed watching TV, and I hear this gigantic boom. And I'm used to, as most people in New York City have been lately, is fireworks all the time. But this was petrifying. I shot out of my bed. I thought there was like a gas explosion or something like that. So I was a little scared, and I kind of just stayed in my bed, and I was like, it was nothing, whatever. And then like 2 minutes later, I see all these lights. So I'm like, I gotta go outside. So this is 3 o'clock in the morning, like in a sweatshirt, in pants, like definitely not wearing a bra. Don't really give a shit. Just want to see what happens.
Just flipping and flopping everywhere.
Just flopping everywhere. I didn't care. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. Who did I think was going to be out there?
Certainly not the dead guy in the car. You didn't mind if he saw your boobies.
There was no dead guy. But I get out, and there's a car that's in the fence outside of my apartment. So I'm legit ground level, like not like first floor. So it bent that. There was a car in there, and then I look forward, and there is a car on top of another truck, like full on, almost on top. I don't know how that's possible.
Wait, car is on top of the truck. That's called actually a car carrier. Usually a trucks, they drive multiple cars.
No. So what he was doing was making a makeshift car carrier because he drove it on there. So he sideswiped 3 cars. Somehow this car landed on top of a truck, but in the opposite direction. So I don't know how that happened because I live on a one-way street. Apparently the guy got out, airbags deployed. He got out before me. I'm out there. There are like 20 cops, and I see these group of guys that live near me jet down the street. Guy got out of the car. He was totally fine talking to people. I guess as soon as the cops rolled up, he ran. He left. So all my neighbors took off after him. I don't know if it was a huge freaking thing. And if that...
This is the car in the fence. The guy got out and just left the car and booked it?
No, the guy... So he drove that car into a fence.
Right.
He was in the car that was on the truck. He somehow made it out. I have no idea. He booked it. It was insane. If that fence was not a fence and it was brick like everybody else's, I'd had a brick through the window. It was scary to see. So the best thing is so I'm talking to the woman next door, and I live next to my landlord. She's like, go wake him up. I'm like, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to scare him. The guy didn't actually hit the building. He hit the fence. Home Depot garbage cans, didn't stand a chance. So I'm like, I'm not going to wake him up. So he knocks on my door earlier, and he was like, hey, I heard you saw what happened, everything okay? And I was explaining it. And me and my neighbor were joking at this entire time. He did not wake up. My landlord did not wake up to this fact that a car almost went into our building. It was so loud. So we were like, I said, how did you not wake up? He was like, I don't know. It just sounded like gunshots to me. And that was even more petrifying, where I was like, you thought it was gunshots and just slept through it? I don't live in a very gunshot-heavy neighborhood. I'm like the youngest person by like 60 years on my block. So he was 100% fine sleeping through what he thought was gunshots.
I heard gunshots, at least what I thought was gunshots, maybe a week or two ago. And after it happened, I just kind of stopped and waited a couple of minutes, and then no sirens came. At which point I had to think they probably weren't gunshots. Right?
It's not. It was fireworks. It's always
fireworks. Yeah. So, I already brought Timmy up once this podcast, and I am dying to hear him on another. I want him to come on. I really, really do.
You bring Timmy on. Bring Timmy on. Absolutely.
So he's afraid that if he comes on this podcast, that we'll roast him. He thinks that we're just going to make fun of him nonstop.
First of all, we've had people on. You've talked to people. Also, he knows me. When have I ever gonna roast him?
Yeah.
What do I have a use for that? No, Timmy, come on. You're welcome. I'll be super nice to you. If Alan tries to roast you, I will defend your honor like the gorgeous lady that you are.
Maybe.
Everything all right over there?
No, not at all. So I want Timmy to come on this show, and I would be so nice to him. I would be so kind and so gentle. But your story reminds me very much of something that happened at his wedding. We had a great time at his rehearsal dinner the Friday night.
Where was the wedding again?
He got married. It was beautiful, Summit, New Jersey, a little more than a year ago.
Okay.
And we did a great rehearsal dinner, and we didn't even get that drunk or whatever, but it was a really good time. And we went to bed that night. Everybody staying in the same hotel. And in, 2 a.m, you hear, and you kind of naturally just stop and you're like, all right, that'll go off in a couple of seconds. And it just didn't. And after a while, and I even tried putting a pillow over my ear, I said, oh, Jesus, probably should just go outside. So the first thing I did was I cracked the door open. I smelled smoke. So now it's like, okay, this is not a drill, people. We got to get moving.
This is not a drill. Did you help your girlfriend, or did you push her down and walk over her?
I am not George Costanza. I made sure she came with me, and I don't remember what I was wearing, but everybody pretty much went outside. We walked the 100, 200 feet away from the building. The rest of this gets a little hazy because I was exhausted, and I'm a germaphobe. I just was lying down in the street on the sidewalk. Like, I'm just going to close my eyes. We were barely functional. I don't remember who was even out there that night. I wasn't.
Wait, so you were drunk. You just said you weren't that drunk. If you were sleeping in a parking lot, you were drunk.
It was 3 o'clock in the morning. I went to bed at like 10, 11 o'clock. And then I woke up at 3 in a haze. And I was like, I'm going outside. I was exhausted. I also been working all night. So I go outside, and as chatty as I am, I'm not talking to anybody or anything. Finally, we wake back up. Everybody goes inside, and then the next morning we're at breakfast, and naturally Ray's like, "Say, you guys remember that thing last night?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I remember it." And Timmy goes, "I had the craziest dream that the fire alarm went off." I was like, "Wait, what?" And he said, we all start talking, and I think he was taking a room with his youngest brother, Ryan. They didn't wake up for this. They slept right through it.
That's great. So him and my landlord are best friends.
Yeah, I don't understand what happened.
Oh, I thought you were pausing because of your headphones.
No, I'm good. I don't know what's going on with that. So yeah, so that was that's my waking up in the middle of the night story. Now,
got it. So our landlord and Timmy are basically the same people and sleep through things that could be very dangerous potentially.
Yes.
I'm happy about that.
So what I wanted to talk about with my beer, because it says Pocket Wrench, and we've kind of teased.
Pocket Dog.
There
Pocket
it is.
Dog.
We've teased a bunch of things that you and I text back and forth. We have a lot of 2 emoji, basically ways of inside jokes, things that we love each other about.
Yes.
And this one we didn't even make up. This was something.
You didn't.
It is straight from the league with Rafi, who is
Rafi's
one of the best.
Taco Corp.
Taco Corp's good too, but Rafi is one of the best characters ever. And it's at least a running gag for a season where he has hot dogs in his pocket, and he's always like, "Oh, pocket dog, yeah, hey
Pocket
Brian."
dogs.
The fact he calls the guy Brian, his name's not Brian.
Yes.
The show was amazing, and then it went slowly downhill. But I stuck it through, and I think it was funny. So a lot of times, you and I will just text a pair of pants and a dog.
Yes.
I mean, not even
and a dog.
not even a hot dog, but in pocket dog always gets a smile out of me. So when I see Pocket Wrench, I said, "Oh my God, that's definitely a beer for the podcast."
It is a beer for the podcast. No, Pocket Dog makes me happy, and you know why? It's because I have absolutely no idea when and why it came up in conversation and which one of us said it. It just happened, and the other one also knew what we were talking about. So that's what's great, is there's a story behind it, but absolutely no story behind it whatsoever.
Agreed. Yeah, and I'm not trying to like do an inside joke with you and people are sitting there like don't get it. It's just one of those things where I definitely recommend the league, and anything that guy does is fantastic.
First of all, they took it off of Netflix, which I just found out last week, and I was unhappy about it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So I'm not paying for Hulu.
Yeah.
I'm not made of money.
You look like you're made of money. You have a nice little. I know you have a fan that is blowing your hair.
I have yeah, it's blowing my. Well, it's either that or like I'm gonna boil. I'm fancy. I'm wearing a hat from the dump.
No. It just you look like you're in an '80s rap video. Like you have this nice wind blowing.
That's what I aim for in all my life is to be a late '80s and early '90s fly girl. That's really all I'm going for in life. So I won already.
J-Lo ain't got ish on you.
She ain't got ish. Leader, Jenny, from the block. Go back to your block.
So the other thing I guess I wanted to see, and I kind of told you a little bit that I wanted to talk about something a little more controversial.
Yeah,
now,
that scares the crap out of me, by the way. Because
what do you think I'm going to do? Tell you I'm pregnant? Like, it can't be that bad.
I mean, that's muzzle to that, but...
If I was pregnant, if I was pregnant, they'd have to change this label on my beer because it would be like, according to a certain gender.
Maybe they're dropping a hint. Maybe you are pregnant.
Nope, just fat. So I don't know if you saw, but now I'm a Barstool guy. Barstool Sports is one of my favorite sites I check. And as crazy as El Presidente Dave Portnoy is, and he's such a masshole, he's good at what he does because with his following, I've been following him a lot with his day trading and all the bullshit that he likes to do. And he's great at riling up people and getting it. I saw he tweeted the other day, absolutely, if I get invited to the White House, I would go. And it kind of got me thinking a little bit about you, about me. And I've actually had this conversation with a fellow podcaster years ago. Now, since this morning watched it, Dave Portnoy got invited to the White House and he went.
Yes.
And did you see the interview with him and Trump?
I didn't. I knew he got invited and I didn't watch it, no.
So it's 20 minutes. It's worth watching. It's pretty good. Portnoy naturally does a great job. And I guess I have two things to talk about it. Is the first one is I want to just say, you know what? We all have our opinions about Trump, and I think you hate him, despise him more than I do. Not that I am on that side. But Trump actually admitted something, and this is what made a little bit of headlines, is they said something along the lines of, how did he phrase it? He said something along the lines of like, do you regret any of the tweets that you send? And Trump came right out and said, not my tweets, but I regret my retweets. And I thought to myself, you know what? That's big of him to admit that he has retweeted and done things. He said, look, usually back in the day, you type up a report, you leave it on your desk, you come back the next day and you're like, geez, what an idiot. Why would I ever say that?
Yeah.
But now he kind of has gone on the lines of, you know what? Maybe tweeting immediately things that come to his head are not the best idea. So I just want to give him credit for saying that, because that's probably the first time I've ever heard him say, like, I was wrong for what I said.
Well, yes. So you give him credit.
It's a low-hanging fruit. I mean,
it's a very low-hanging fruit. It's like your kid that, like, has a tantrum, like, every day, and then one day, instead of having 15, he has 14. You're like, here we go. There we go. Listen, dude, at least for once in his life, he said, I was wrong. I'll give him something. At least for one time, you did something okay, decent. I mean, I'm not on your side, and we're rewarding childish behavior, but you did at least for once in your life say you did something wrong.
Right.
So I'll give you props for that.
So that was the one thing that I knew that you'd maybe go along with me. Now, my second question, which is maybe a little more controversial.
Uh-oh.
If Booze Your Daddy ever gets anywhere as close to anything that could get near a White House, something like that. Because I was talking to a friend years ago, and he was saying him and his co-podcaster, they don't want guests on, they don't want this, they don't want that. And I said, you're telling me if the most coveted interview in the world right now, love him or hate him, Donald Trump is the best interview you could ever get right now. My question to you, Stephanie, is if he wanted to sit down with you, with me, with us for 20 minutes, would you, one, be okay with it? Two, just give him the big middle finger, or three, try to sit and have an honest, non-inflammatory conversation? I'm just curious what you would do.
There's number three is not possible. If you've watched any interview, I would say absolutely not, because I feel like it's just, at that point, it's just pandering. You're getting people to listen to see what an a-hole he can be, just like any news station that has him for an interview, they don't care what he says. They know he's going to say something dumb, and they know you're going to come to their site and watch it. Nobody wants the contents of the inside of his brain. We don't want it. Okay. But you know what? If you really wanted to do it, I would probably sit the episode out and say, I would let you have it if you really wanted to. If they invite us to the White House, I am not going. Listen, okay. If Barack comes back or, Uncle Joe wants us, maybe, but sorry. If you want to do the president episode, well, if it's that guy, you gotta run that show, man. You do not want me on.
I respect that. I guess there's just more of a question to you, and at least the way I think things are shaking out, I don't think Booze Your Daddy podcast is going to get to that level by November the 2nd because
it's not. I don't think so.
Because I don't think November the 3rd or November the 4th, it's going to be an option, at least the way things are shaking out. But all right, I guess I was just curious to kind of see your thoughts on that. I just think Portnoy did a great job. So I think kudos to him because he went in and he asked a couple of tough questions and he didn't lick his you-know-what. And he also wasn't a complete jerk, which he definitely which he really wants to be sometimes. All right. That was the end of it.
That was good. I like that you brought, the more you know kind of a moment to the show. It's what we needed. We need to be more educational and possible because we do have a lot of children listening. So, got to help them out. If there are children listening, parents, stop letting your children listen to this.
I don't know.
I've toned down the cursing. It's a little bit better. We're not bad. We're like a PG-13, not an R.
Yeah, it's funny because sometimes I post our links to stuff and it says, is it safe for work, SFW or not safe for work? And my comment is 99% safe for work with 1 or 2 curses.
Yes. I mean, it's true. It's true. I mean, I'm sure eventually it will be very not. So do you want to do trivia? Because I got trivia prepared for you, and I'm kind of excited about this one. And I kind of went back and forth in this one because, like I say, every time we keep having to discuss that mine are too hard. So I tried to really even this one out. I had to go back and put back in some that I took out. So, you like award shows.
I do.
You do like award shows.
I do.
We also have a very good we have a good story about the Oscars, i.e. you were supposed to watch the Oscars and we got too drunk at brunch and
oh my God.
You didn't make up for it.
I forgot about that. Let's next episode we're doing that.
Yeah,
story.
No, that was a rough one. So what we're gonna do is because I love music and you love movies, we are gonna do Oscar-winning songs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the song, the person who sings it. Now, for the Oscars, it's not the person that sings it. It's the person that wrote it. So I'm just going to give you who's singing it. I'll give the year, the song, and the artist, and you just got to tell me the movie.
Oh, I have to tell you the movie. Okay. Oof.
Yeah. It'll be okay. It'll be okay.
I was warming up my chops here. I thought I was going to get my every night in my
dreams. I feel it. My all-time favorite movie. Plus, I can sing like an angel. All right. I guess we'll save number 1 till later. All right. Most of them are easy. All right. 2017, Shallow by Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper. Is that a yes? Okay. What else we got? Number 2, 1986. Bill Medley and Jennifer Warner. I've had the time of my life. And also, if you get it right, you have to sing a little rendition of it.
You don't think I was going to do that?
Okay, I just want to make sure. I want to make sure that was part of it.
I
didn't clarify that beforehand.
You're basically reading. Did you steal my iPod? Are you doing that right now?
No, I know. This is why.
This is great. You're in my wheelhouse right now.
Yeah, no, I know. Well, there's 2 that are harder. Okay. 3, My Heart Will Go On 1998, Celine Dion. Did you get that? Do you know it? We hadn't talked about it yet. All right. These ones are harder. 1975, Evergreen, Barbra Streisand.
It's okay. You know what? I deserved a hard one. This is good. Okay.
All right. And the last one's a little bit harder. But 2004, 3-6 Mafia. It's hard out here for a pimp. And that one you're going to have to sing. This one's a little hard because when I was looking up, I was like, what's that movie? And then I looked it up and I was like, oh, that.
Okay.
All right. So I wrote everything out of order, so I'm just going to go with what I know. Is the first one, did I say Lady Gaga?
You did.
All right. So Lady Gaga, Bradley Cooper, Shallow. What is that movie?
That movie is called A Star is Born, and that movie is ruining every karaoke that I go to because every guy and girl couple think they're way too original and they get up to do that song.
Yeah.
It is terrible.
My God, I just realized, why don't we call this segment Name That Movie? Nailed it.
Yeah, pretty much.
So you got that. So you got that right. You got that right. Okay. Number 2, I've Had the Time of My Life. 1986, Bill Medley, Jennifer Warner.
Because they want, because, and this is where you lift the person up. I had the time of my life. Oh, you lifted the beer up.
I owe it all to you.
Boom, 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 boom.
I still need the movie.
It's Dirty Dancing.
Okay.
That was pretty easy. But you've seen the Eli Manning Odell Beckham Jr. commercial for that?
Yes.
Oh, it's
good stuff. I like myself a good football commercial.
Yes.
What do we got next? We got My Heart Will Go On by one Miss Celine Dion.
Yeah.
1998.
Yeah, we both know that that's Titanic, but the better story that I have from that is that my sister took my mom recently to a Celine Dion concert in Baltimore, in Maryland. And my sister took so many videos and sent it to me, and it was really, really special and beautiful, except all you could hear was my sister singing the songs louder. So she was recording the whole thing, and you just heard her go, and my sister, she's not tone deaf, but she's very far from being on key.
Got it. So she doesn't have the vocal that I have.
She has 2 vocal cords, yes.
Yeah, so I have 5.
Yeah, of all the singers I've ever heard, she's one of them.
Sure. All right, so you got that. So you're 3 for 3 right now. But we're going into the harder ones. We got 2004, 3-6 Mafia. Hard Out Here for a Pimp.
So that's number 5.
That's number 5. Well, it's number 4 since I already said it.
So 3-6 Mafia, I kind of really, it struck a chord for me. I believe the movie is called Hustle and Flow, I think.
Oh, that was good. I didn't think you were going to get that.
Because it's hard out here for a pimp.
Pimp.
Ain't know that I can all that money for the rent. Oh, the gas money spent. Have a whole lot of strippers jumping shit.
It's basically like your life every day.
Yes.
All right. Well, then, so you're 4 for 4. So if you get this last one, I'm going to be really, really freaking impressed. And all right. So number 5 is 1975. Barbra Streisand. Evergreen.
So you're not going to be impressed because other than Meet the Fockers, I can't name a single.
Alan.
I know it. She's a Jewish icon. I get it. It's just it's so far before my time that I can't even name a single. And even I'm like picturing this like Papa.
Not even you don't even know Yentl?
Oh, that was the one I was thinking of, but that's not the
God!
right one.
It wasn't
No.
Yentl.
No,
My
no,
God,
I
you're
knew
supposed
it.
to
I
know
was
Yentl.
thinking of Yentl, but I knew it wasn't that. But I'm even like picturing the whole like, Papa, can you hear me?
Yes, that's
Papa.
Yentl.
Great. I don't know it. So
So you know that. All right, so I included this because it was a tricky one. This is A Star Is Born.
motherfucker, I actually was going to say that. I was going to say that. God
That's
damn.
why I almost wanted to do them back to back, but I was like, I'm going to make it a little bit trickier. Star Is
That was
Born.
great. It was on
The
my tongue.
original.
I did know she was in that. I think with Chris Christopherson, I believe.
Chris Christopherson, man, was he good looking man then? He had so much hair. So much hair.
Okay.
What? I didn't have a crush on him. He was a nice looking person, but he was a hairy guy. You're a hairy guy.
Thanks, Steph.
I'm a hairy girl. No. Cut that part out.
It's funny. You know, I was on Simon's roof recently and we're chilling. And next thing you know, some lady comes upstairs with her. She's talking on a Zoom call, a face call or something. I don't know. And she's showing, like, I don't know if she was talking or like showing like, ooh, look at my pretty roof. Look at this. And I turned to her. I said, hey, let me talk to whoever that is. And she comes over and she's just pointing the camera at me. I said, well, can I talk? She goes, I flipped the camera around. So I just lift my shirt up and flash this lady. I mean, look, I'm a dude. You're not going to see anything crazy other than a hairy chest. And she kind of chuckles and walks away. And Alexis stops and goes, you know, that's our broker, right? I was like, oh, no, I really thought that.
Oops.
She said, I was just getting ready to ask for a reduction in rent. Thanks a lot, Alan. I was like, I thought it was funny.
I mean, maybe you showing your chest helped their chances.
That's what I said. I said, I just showed her this very masculine chest.
Yeah.
And yeah, Alexis was not happy about it.
Maybe she's easily swayed by man meat.
There's a lot more meat than there used to be after COVID.
Excuse me. I'm glad that the show is about we sit down, because if we stood up, which you put up a picture on Instagram the other day, specifically I wanted not the standing ones, and you put up a standing one, but I let it go.
Neon lights. Sit down.
Bitch, be humble. Sit down. You know what? You can't get me started on that song because I'll go into 5 different renditions of it.
All right. Well, Stephanie, I think you did an amazing job at trivia. I had a chance at the 5 for 5, but
Thank you. You had a chance for 5 to 5. You know what? I stopped myself short of. I could not do it to myself. I could not do Let It Go. I couldn't.
No,
I mean, that was basically saying like, what's the letter that comes after B? I couldn't do that. But you did good. I'm impressed.
Thank
4
you.
for 5.
No. You know what? The idea is anybody who's capable should get 3, but truly special people should get 4, and geniuses should get 5. So
I can guarantee you, I can think of 2 of our friends right now that I guarantee you have 5 for 5. And then they will be listening and know who they are so they can follow up with me. But I'm not going to call them out, because if they don't, then they look like butts.
All right, Boo. Well, let's wrap this up here. I had another great show with you.
It was amazing. It was good for me. It was good for you.
It was better for you. Ow!
It was, you're a dick.
A little bit. So
it was fine.
Everybody who's listening to us, make sure you've hit the subscribe button. Make sure you're giving us likes. Follow us on Instagram, because we release a lot of stuff on there. Boo's Your Daddy, BOOSYOURDADDY. YouTube, there's an apostrophe after the second O, so BOO apostrophe S, YOURDADDY. Everything else is there. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. Stephanie Blue and True Dancona, any parting words?
Blue and True. I don't know about parting words, but I will say, like we said last week, everyone's really hanging in there with us, and I'm very impressed. People are very involved, and I like it. So keep it going. We'll keep it going. As long as they're liking it, I'm doing it.
It's true, and I actually am debating on, do we just start going with Blue True Crew, or is that your people, and maybe I'm like the lean, mean, green or something on that effect? Because I'm more.
You cut out, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Whatever. Blue and True Crew for
Blue
you.
Blue and True. He said something, ladies and gentlemen. You can tell me what it was later.
Love you, Boo.
All right, love you, do. Boo out.